Yeah, so right now, all I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time, but I was just a stranger. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time, but I was just a stranger. All I wanted was to be a gangster. And shot call to be known with them niggas letting shots off. Either that or the right hand to the top dog. Funny how we see vanity, not the lives lost. Can't be focused on a life that's hopeless. Out there pumping, not knowing the Lord will kill you for that hocus pocus. Used to roll with niggas that cook dope with weaponry. Same ones claim they love you. I had no life in jeopardy. And I know my mother wants success for me. But that G should take a girl straight to ecstasy. Remember running with bruh. Even though we did the wrong thing, my life would been a lot different if I fell up under Rob's wing. Was too sincere for a wicked game. Shame the Lord's name. Now we afflicted with pain. All I ever wanted was to be respected by stand-up niggas. Not knowing that them handcuffs custom made the fence. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time, but I was just a stranger. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time, but I was just a stranger. All I wanted was to be a gangster. I ain't lying, I was close to dying. Knew I wanted to live, but I wasn't trying. I was defiant, not knowing that this ain't how we live. This just how they design it. Cause when you in them streets, you get more endemic. They don't tell you gonna be on papers and on restrictions. My father said a hard head to make a soft ass. I didn't care, I wanted fear when I walked past. In a place where a black man's blood is cheap. I thank the Lord for the day I was on Lake Street. Pissing in a cup, back and forth to court. Found the DC school, I swear it felt like I crawled on that fucking porch. The Lord said, my sheep, they ain't hear my voice. Asked me why I'm UPK, I told them I ain't have a choice. They said God ain't 50-50 and what's gonna come to pass. The Lord called me out the world and I started running fast. All I wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time, but I was just a stranger. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time, but I was just a stranger. Go ahead. All I wanted was to be a gangster. Isupk until it hit the fan. I want power and a throne, nigga, fuck them grams. All I wanted was to be a gangster, but I was real as a righteous man. And now got the upper hand, gotta promote this brand. Correct whole multitudes until they all understand. If I can't get that crown, Lord, then put me in the hands of someone more mighty, make me this hit man. Reminiscing on the pain that was felt. Shit, I was in the jail. Shit, I needed help. But Swan was locked up and the judge put man on the shelf. Heavy crying cause it felt like I was left by myself. All I wanted was to impress niggas with my grinding. Now I ain't trying to prove shit to nobody but Muhammad. Cause most these niggas lie, pop smoke. One time for the most high, he made me a cutthroat. Cause all I ever wanted was to smash my opponents. Stacking cash, not knowing it wouldn't last. Then God, I hope you accept my atonement. Cause all I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made before
Clap it up. This is Isupk Charlotte. We're the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under Commander General Yohana. We got started in 1969 at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. And we've been teaching this truth that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the true Israelites of the Bible. We're the true Jews. And we're up here to uplift our people, bring our people back to the truth, wake them up to our identity so that we can get back on the right hand of the Most High. Like I said, this is Isupk Charlotte, and we are at 1539 North Ridge Avenue, Kannapolis, North Carolina. I'm Officer 50 by Eyes, and this is the Tuesday night Brotherhood class. And it's with a heavy heart that I'm coming teaching this class tonight. But I love the Most High, and I love all my Akim and Adawanyam and the water to everybody in the Isupk, man. The water for everything. Now, we're going to start with our usual heavy hitter, Zephaniah 2:1. And it reads, "Gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desired." Now, we always start with this precept right here, this scripture right here, because it's exactly what our people need, man. We need to gather together because, you know, the old saying goes, it's strength in numbers. And that's what a family is supposed to do. And we are a family, man, whether you believe it, accept it, or like it or not. You know, we're a nation. We're a nation of people. And not only are we a nation of people, but as it says, "O nation not desired." That means we're a nation that's not desired, man. We hated on this earth. We hated in this place especially. Any place under the control of the devil, we slaves in this place, man. We slaves in all of those places on this planet, man. So that's why we need to gather together with our own. Come together with our own. Because if we don't have each other, if we don't have each other's back, then we're just going to be a bunch of lost individuals out here, man. Fighting, not only fighting the oppressor, but fighting each other. Because there's only so much that we have. So if we're going to rob and steal from our brother, man. Which is what goes on out here. Because we don't know our identity. But once we learn our identity and we do what the scripture says, man. We do what the scripture says, to gather together. And it says it twice. Because that's how important it is for us to gather together, man. I'm going to read it again. "Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired." And again, we need to focus on the fact that we are not desired. And we need to come to grips with that, man. Stop begging your oppressor for his love, man. They don't love us, man. They hate us. They want to oppress us. They need somebody to be the slaves in this kingdom. And we the ones that's chosen for that job. So we need to big up our brothers, man. We need to support our brothers and sisters, man. When you see your brother or your sister in a low state, try to raise them out of that state, man. The same way you would want them to do for you. I mean, it's only right that we show that kind of brotherhood and sisterhood to each other. It's only right. Verse 2. "Before the decree bring forth, before the day pass as the chaff." Because the day can pass as the chaff, man. One day we can be here, and then the next day we're gone, man. And that hits even closer to home for me right now, because I just got the call 5 minutes before this class that my father passed away, man. But this is the Brotherhood class, man. And I'm doing my part, doing my best to be a good brother, to spread the word, to spread this truth to our people, man. It's my job to teach this class. So it's not the best situation, but so what, man? I love my people. So I'm gonna do the work of a priest, man. And get out here and prophesy to my people, man, so that we can wake up and get out of this condition. Because the time is short, man. Before the decree bring forth. Before the day pass as the chaff, man. Before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you. That goes for all of us. We don't want to fall under the fierce anger of the Most High. I know I don't. That's why we need to do what the scripture says, man, and gather ourselves together, man. Before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you. We don't want that, man. So we need to wake up. We need to also come to grips with the fact that we need to be better brothers and sisters to each other, man. Ain't no other way around that. That's why we always start with that scripture, man, Zephaniah 2:1. Because that right there can fix the condition of our people, man. But we don't just need to gather ourselves together under Christianity or under Islam or under the conscious community, whatever they believe in. We need to gather ourselves together as the nation of Israel under the one true power, the Most High, and His Son, Yahushua. That's what we're supposed to do. We need to come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments, man. Straight up and down. We need to figure out, we need to go into this Bible. First, we need to get into class, man. We need to get into these doors of this Isupk, man. Get up under this banner, under Commander General Yohana, man. The Most High chose Commander General Yohana, and he answered the call, man. That's why we have this little sanctuary for us to call home, man. A place where you can get the truth, man. We're the home of the truth. So you need to come in here, get in all black, boot, shirt, headband, and come rock out with us, man. Learn the truth of this Bible so that you can know so you can be properly trained on how to be a better brother, man. And I'm gonna go with 1 John 4:20. To further expound on this brotherhood, man. Because this Bible is all about brotherhood for our people. Because the Most High know without brotherhood, we're not going to be a nation, man. My father would never allow, I have a brother and a sister, both older. I'm the youngest child. And big up to my pops, man. Because in our community, a lot of us don't grow up with our fathers, man. My mother and father last month celebrated their 53rd or 54th wedding anniversary, man. My father was always in my life, man. So this one hurts. But we still got to push forth, man. I got to do my part to honor him by honoring the Most High, man. And my father would never want to see his children fight each other. Of course, brothers and sisters gonna fight. That's what we do. But he would never accept that and just say, well, brothers and sisters gonna fight. Nah, he wouldn't allow that, man. He wanted us to love each other. And we do love each other to this day. And the same thing goes for our Heavenly Father, man. He got the same requirement. But, even on a greater level. Because he's just greater than us, period. But he never want to see his children not being brotherly and sisterly to each other, man. That's just the way it goes. And this is the book of 1 John, chapter 4, verse 20. And if a man say, I love God, and hateth his brother, he is a liar, man. And yeah, we're going back over these same milk scriptures, man, because these milk scriptures are the foundation to the meat that we receive later. I'm just an officer of 50, so I start with the milk scriptures till we get those down, man, because the milk scriptures are the foundation, man. These are UPK principles right here, man. But if a man say, I love God, and of course we got everybody out here saying that they love God, man. Anytime you watch an award show Anytime you watch a championship in a sports game, anytime somebody receives some honor, the first thing they do is say, I want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Or I want to thank God. Or I wouldn't be here without God. That's the first thing they say. I love God. In the Christian church, those gospel singers, they sing about it. They get up and they dance about it and proclaim it to the top of their lungs and scream and shout it, how much they love God, man. But if a man say, I love God, and hateth his brother, he is a liar. But you a liar if you don't love your brother, man. No matter how much you scream and profess that you love God, man. You are a liar. And that's the words of the Most High. That's him saying that. That's not me saying that. You can't hate your brother with all your actions and with all your wicked words and with all your evil doings and wickedness and turning your back on him when he's in his low state and not feeding him when he's hungry and talking about him behind his back and getting with his woman behind his back, man, gaming on his woman and disrespecting his family and whatever the case may be. You can't do all of those things on the one hand, then on the next hand talk about how much you love God, man. That's fake. And the Most High is not about being fake. He's about being real with each other and having this nation conduct ourselves rather as a family, man. He got laws that state that that's what we're supposed to do. That's how serious it is about it. That's how serious the Most High is about it, man. About this nation of Israel, man. He chose us to be a special people. And we can't be a special people if we out here behaving like everybody else, man. We're supposed to be different. We're supposed to be set apart. And we can't be set apart if we don't treat all of us like we're set apart. The same way that I'm a part of this nation, you a part of this nation. If the Most High says that I'm special, then damn it, you special too. And I'm supposed to treat you like you're special. And vice versa, man. That's how we're supposed to see it. That's how we're supposed to look at it, man. The same way you look at yourself as one of the chosen of Israel, one of the chosen of the Most High. That's the same way you're supposed to look at your brother, man. He's chosen too. All 12 tribes, man. Isupkites, Benjamites, Levites, Judites. It don't matter the tribe, man. We all fall under the banner of the nation of Israel, man. So that means we all brothers and sisters. And we need to be treating each other as so, man. Again, if a man, this is the book of 1 John, chapter 1, Salakia, chapter 1, verse 4. If a man say, I love God, and hateth his brother, he is a liar. For he that loveth not his brother, whom he hath seen, how can he love God, whom he hath not seen? You haven't even seen the Most High, man. Not one day in your life have you seen the Most High. But you know who you do see every day. You see fellow Israelites, man. You see your brother every day. So the Most High is not about that cheap talk, man. The Most High is about loving each other, man. And he sent his son down here to show us how to be good brothers and sisters, man. Christ gave the perfect example of how to be a good brother, man. The perfect brother. How to love your brother more than yourself. Because that's what a lot of it boils down to. Loving somebody else more than you love your filthy self, man. Because we all filthy out here, man. We all filthy out here. Salaki. Shalom, Lord Christ. Yes, sir. Teaching class right now. Yes, sir. Lucky for that. Lucky for that. Where was I? 1 John chapter 1 verse 4. If a man say, I love God, and hateth his brother, he is a liar. For he that loveth not his brother, whom he hath seen, how can he say he loved God, whom he hath not seen? There you go, man. Like, we break down scriptures in here, because some of them are difficult to understand. But that right there is plain as day, man. It don't take much breaking that down. That's basically saying, man, if you hate your brother, you don't show your brother love out here, man, don't be saying you love God, man. Because God is calling you a liar to your face. That's what he's saying. You're a liar, man. Straight up and down. I mean, we can look at the words of the Most High and not like it, or say, you know, I don't accept that part, or man wrote the Bible. Whatever your excuse may be for wanting to hate your brother, man. Just know that the Most High ain't buying it, man. He's not buying it. And at the end of the day, it's him that who has to accept us, man. It's him who has to accept us. And Christ came down here not speaking his own words, but he came down here speaking the words of his Father, man. And if this is how his Father feels, then that's how he feels. And we're going to turn to the book of Matthew, chapter 25, and we're going to start at verse 40. Because Christ, like I said, he set the example of how to be a perfect brother, man. Because our nation had gotten to a point where brotherhood was not at the forefront. Of course, there had been times in the past in our nation where we had good examples of being a good brother, but not like Christ. Christ did it to a level that has never been done before, man. And I would venture to say hasn't been done since. But he's still an excellent example for us to follow. Like, he set the standard high, man. That's what the standard setter is supposed to do. Set it so high that it gives you something to shoot for. Gives you a mark that you have to work to achieve. It ain't no standard if it's low, man. If the bar is set low, it ain't no standard. It's not supposed to be something that's easily attainable. Something you're supposed to have to work at, man. And I know myself, I have to work every day at being a better brother, man. Because, I mean, there's no end to being a good brother. There's no mark that you hit that now you're the ultimate good brother and that's it. Nah, you still got tomorrow, man. You still have the next day. You still have the next minute, the next hour, the next encounter with a member of your nation. And you got to prove it all over again. It's a never-ending cycle, man. A never-ending process on brotherhood, man. It's like breathing. That's what being a good brother is, man. Like, it's something that has to be a conscious decision. We have to have it on our minds to be good brothers and sisters to each other. Because we live in a hellish condition in this place. So it's easy for us to think about ourselves and to try to survive and to try to get through and to worry about how am I going to make it? How am I going to pay this next bill? How am I going to put food on my table to feed my family? How am I going to continue to make it to the slavery that I hate? How am I going to not steal from my brother when I see him with a little bit more than I have? You know, he has it, I need it, so I can just go and take it. Like, these are the things that we constantly have to deal with in the condition that we're in, man. In hell, man. Hell is a state, man, a condition on the earth. And it's the lowest state, man. And that's what we are in this place. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. We the chosen people of the Most High. We the true Israelites. If I neglected to say that earlier. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. That's our people. That's the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. If you're not black, Hispanic, or Native Indian, then this is not for you. The Bible is not written for you. It was never intended for you. I mean, you're in there. You're mentioned in there how we're supposed to deal with you, but it's not for you. You're reading somebody else's mail, man. These records are passed down from our forefathers to us so that we can know how to get out of this hellish condition that we find ourselves in to this day. And as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we all have one thing in common. We're on the bottom of society. It trips me out every time. Being in here, of course, we know in the Isupk, it's second nature to us that we know that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the 12 tribes of Israel. And that we are the ones who go through all of the curses. We all fit these curses. But then you have fake Israelite groups out here who some believe that it's only Judah, only the African American who are the children of Israel. And some people think that it's all black people, like African American skin color. So they put Hamites in there. But then every time you turn on the news or you hear Joe Biden or Dr. Fauci or somebody talking about the worst conditions or the people who go through the worst conditions, you hear three names. You hear blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. And this is on watching the news. This is from hearing Joe Biden talk or Dr. Fauci talk about who are the ones who are most affected by COVID. Health conditions, preconditions with bad health. They'll say blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. When they talk about the overrun prison population and who are the majority of the inmates, they'll say blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. So being in here, I'm used to hearing the names blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. But then when I'm watching the news, you hear those three groups of people get lumped together all the time when it's talking about something negative. And that's no coincidence, man. That's for you fake Israelites out there, man. And for you other hard-headed people who don't want to believe the 12 tribes chart, man. Listen, the Isupk is the home of the truth. We have the truth, man. And like the Bible say, man, the truth shall make you free, man. And we free men in the Isupk, man. We're not some homeborn slaves, man, like a lot of our people are. I mean, we all come from that mentality. We all come from that situation. But we wanted a better way, man. And the Most High had mercy on us and showed us this place and walked us through these doors, man. And now we're free men up in the Isupk. And we recognize the traps and snares out here of our oppressor, man. And we realize that one of the biggest snares and traps was for us to not be good brothers and sisters to each other. And that's why we work every day on changing that, man, reversing that. Not only for ourselves, but for our brothers and sisters. We're not just talking about brotherhood just to each other. We go out on the streets and we teach that to the people, man, to our people. Because even blacks have not been the best brother to Hispanics and vice versa, or to the Native Indians and vice versa. Hispanics have not been the best brothers to other Hispanics, man. Blacks have not been the best brother to other blacks, man. We talk about black on black crime all the time. So we got it with intra-tribe and inter-tribe, man. We got to do better on all fronts. But the first things first, we got to know who our brother is, man. And that's blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. So if you black and you see a Native Indian or you see a Hispanic brother, Recognize that brother is the same as you. First and foremost, man. Recognize that first. And then you can treat him accordingly. But if you see that he's not one of our people, we're not saying openly hate or hate him regardless. We're not saying that. But we're just saying save your love for your people, man. I got a slavery. I go to work. I deal with other nations all the time. I'm not some evil brother out here who's just walking around trying my best to show all of these nations that I hate them. But at the same time, I'm not breaking my neck to show them that I love them either. I just treat them like I'm at work. I deal with them because I have to deal with them at work. But not like I deal with my brothers and sisters at work. And then when I get off, I don't deal with them at all. I save all my love and my time and my energy and my efforts for my people. Because that's who needs it, man. Ain't it about time that our people get some love, man? I mean, straight up, ain't it about time that our people get some love, man? Our oppressor gets love from everybody, man. He has been getting love for everybody for hundreds of years. And then when we finally come out here and say, stop loving your oppressor, then he gets to crying about why y'all don't love me, man. You got enough love, man. And you get none over here. Straight up and down. But anyway, I'm going to get off that, man. I'm going to move on to Matthew chapter 25, verse 40. And it reads, Shalaki, I'm going to start up. I'm going to move up a little bit. I'm going to move up to verse 32. And before him, I'm going to start at verse 31. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 25, verse 31. When the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and the holy angels with him, and that's the day that we in the Isupk, we are anxiously waiting for that day, man. That's our hope, man. That's our faith. That's what we are patiently waiting on as saints, man. For the day when the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him. Then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory. That's what we do all this work for, man. Like a football coach used to say in the NFL, you know, when it got to the fourth quarter and the game got tight and everybody was tired, he would pull his team to the side and say, that's why you lift all them weights. Well, in the Isupk, man, that's why we lift all them weights, man. And by weights, I mean study all these scriptures. Go to all these classes. Go to all these camps. Be amongst the brethren as much as we can be amongst the brethren. Go out here and preach the truth and teach our people. Go out here and have these food and clothing drives, man. That's why we do these things. Because we anxiously awaiting the day for when the Son of Man shall come in his glory and all the holy angels with him. Then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory, man. That's the day that we're waiting on, man. And when he come with all his angels, he's coming to make war, man, against our oppressors, man. He come to turn away our captivity, man. Turn away our oppression. Bring us back into our rightful place, man, as the chosen children of the Most High. Verse 32, and before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, So all the nations are going to be before him, man. And he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats. So you're going to have nations all gathered before Christ, man. And he's going to do some separating, like the sheep from the goats. Verse 33, and he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats are going to be on the left, man. And you know, we are the lost sheep of the children of Israel, man. We are the sheep of the Most High. And he's going to set us on his right hand, man. And all the other nations are going to be on the left hand, man. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, come, ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world, man. This kingdom was prepared for us from the beginning, man. We just fell away from it by choosing to disobey the Most High. But it's going to be returned to us once we come back to the Most High, man. And Christ come and destroy our enemies. That's what he's going to come to do with all those 200 million angels, man. But he says, then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, come, ye blessed of my Father, man. That's what he's going to say to the sheep on his right hand, man. Inherit the kingdom. That's our inheritance, man. The kingdom. And that's rulership, man. Finally, we're going to rule this place the way that we have always been intended to rule this place, man. Verse 35, for as I was hungry, and ye gave me meat, I was thirsty, and ye gave me drink. I was a stranger, and ye took me in, man. That goes back to the previous scripture, man. You can't say that you love God, but then hate your brother, man. When Christ is saying, when I was hungry, you gave me meat, man. You looked out for your brother. You gave him drink when he was thirsty. You looked out for your brother. When he was a stranger, you took him in. Good looking out for your brother, man. That's something that's not taken lightly or looked at lightly by the Most High, man. Verse 36, naked, and ye clothed me. I was sick, and ye visited me. I was in prison, and ye came unto me. Again, the same thing, man. Looking out for your brother in his time of need. When you do these things, then you can say you love God, man. Then you can say you love the Most High. That's showing that you love the Most High. Because you love his people. Your brother. Not some stranger, not some other nation. You get no points for that. It starts at home first, man, among your own, man. What good is it for you to show how much of a caring and loving person you are, but you only doing it for the oppressor, man? Nah, man. You gotta start at home, man, with your brothers, man. Your brothers and sisters, man, the ones that's in need, the ones who are your neighbors, man, who going through the same hellish condition that you going through, man. What's the purpose of you giving your love to somebody who's already in heaven, man? And then when as they live in heaven, they sustain their status by oppressing your brothers and your sisters. That's asinine, man. That's an idiotic concept. A simple and stupid way of thinking, man. But that's something that we've been taught by this Christian church, man. This Christian church has been a detriment to our community, man, to our nation. Because it puts aside the love that the Most High told us to reserve for each other and give it to everybody. It has our people saying that their nationality is Baptist, man. Or I don't have a nationality. I'm a Christian. Like, that's ridiculous, man. That's ridiculous. You get beaten by the cops, you get followed in the stores. They're not following you around like that because you're a Christian, man. They're following you around like that because you're black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, man. So if you too simple to know your nationality, your oppressor lets you know every day what your nationality is, man. So what some evil, wicked Christian pastor is letting you know or lying to you that your nationality doesn't matter. So what, man? What does the Most High say? The Most High made nationalities, man. Don't let some wicked pastor disrespect what the Most High made, man. If it wasn't for us to have different nationalities, then why would the Most High make it, man? He made it that way. But we're going to continue on. Then shall the righteous answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee and hungry, and fed thee, or thirsty, and gave thee drink? So now the sheep are on the right are asking, when did we do these things to you? Because I don't remember ever doing this to you. I don't remember feeding you when you was hungry, or giving you drink when you were thirsty. Or verse 39, when saw thee a stranger and took thee in, or naked and clothed thee? Verse 39, or when we saw thee sick or in prison and came unto thee? So this is what the people are saying back to Christ in that day. When did we do these things to you? In verse 40, this is what Christ says. And the king shall answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these my brethren. One of the least. The least. The least can be that brother you see on the street, man, who lost his job, lost his family, who just need a few dollars or a few words of encouragement or a place to stay, whatever it might be. That's what it could be. That's the least of, but the key word is the least of thee, Salaki. Inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these, my brethren. Christ said his brethren, man. And we all know that Christ is from the tribe of Judah, one of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, man. So that's the brethren of Christ. Fellow members of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. Not everybody, man. Not everybody on the planet. That's a lie from the pits of the oppressor, the oppressor's cave that he climbed out of and made up some religion that he forced on our people. But now it's not being forced on our people. Our people blindly choose to worship this stuff now because it's been passed down from generation to generation. Let me read on. But inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these, my brethren, ye have done it unto me. So again, you can't hate your brother and say you love God, man. But if you see your brother naked and you clothe him, or you see him hungry and you feed him, or you see him thirsty and you give him some water, man, or you see him in prison and you visit him, or if he's sick, you help nurse him back to health. If you do these things, then that's you showing that you love God, man. That's what these scriptures are saying. That's what the Most High is saying. And that's brotherhood, man. This is the Tuesday night brotherhood class. That's what this is all about. Brotherhood is important. We put brotherhood at the forefront of the school, man. That's why we teach a class on it every week, to stress the importance of being a good brother. We have a history class. We have a law class. We have a scripture breakdown class. We got a language class. We have a Sabbath service. But we also have a brotherhood class, because it's important, man. We're not going to make it as a nation without it, man. We can't have all of these different philosophies in our nation if we're going to come together, or we still going to be divided and have all kind of schisms and divisions amongst us. We have to come back to the Most High under the laws, statutes, and commandments. And in those laws, we are commanded to be good brothers, man, to love one another. If you want to say that you love God, man. Straight up and down. And that's it on that. I'm going to drop that. But that's heavy, because those scriptures in Matthew 25 out of Christ's own mouth is saying the exact same thing that 1 John chapter 4 verse 20 was saying, man. That you don't love God if you don't do these things, man. If you're not a good brother. Ain't no way around it. You can say whatever you want to say with lip service. But that's not what the Most High is saying. The Most High is saying, you got to show this, man. And you show this by being a good brother. Straight up and down. Now we're going to go to John chapter 13. And we're going to start at verse 34. And it reads, a new commandment. And this is written in red. So this is Christ's words, man. Christ is saying this. John chapter 13, verse 34. A new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another, as I have loved you, that ye also love one another. Again, Christ is the ultimate brother. He gave the ultimate example on how to be a good brother. And he says, love one another as I have loved you. And like I said earlier, Christ set the standard real high, man. He set the bar way up there, man. Way up there. And he wants us to reach up there and achieve that level of love for each other, man. That's something that's going to take a lot of work. You have to make a conscious attempt to show your brothers that much love, man. We don't have that naturally in us. Even if you were born as the kindest, most loving person, you still have to work and strive to be the kind of brother that Christ was, man. You got to be willing to die for your brothers, man. But not only that, Christ gave up his life for his brothers, man. Like not just in death, but while he lived. I don't think Christ had a home. But who's giving up having a home for your brothers, man? Who's doing that? Who's going out here every day and 24/7 making it all about loving your brother? Like that takes a tremendous amount of effort, man. That takes a tremendous amount of discipline and will. And that's the kind of brother that Christ was, man. And that's the kind of brother that he is commanding us to be. It says, a new commandment I give unto you. Not a new suggestion or not a new request. It's a new commandment, man. To love one another as he has loved us. That ye also love one another. Verse 35. By this shall all men know that ye are my disciples, if ye have love one to another. And that's how the world is going to know that we are the disciples of Christ, by how much we love one another, man. So when your oppressor sees you bad-mouthing your own so that you can kiss up to him and his own, he knows that you're not one of Christ's disciples, man. He knows that you're just a disgusting sellout, man. And he doesn't respect that, man. He doesn't respect you anyway, but you think that he does. You think that you can brown nose your way into his good graces. You can't, man. Because your oppressor knows that you're not the same people as him. So he would never love you the way he loves his own. The Asian man. You see them dwell amongst each other. They have their little Chinatowns in their communities. And they make sure that they stay around and give all of their love to their own. And they're fine with being around each other. They're fine with having their Chinatown in every city and keeping their culture and having their signs and their letters displayed all around the city, all around their community. Well, we don't understand what that sign says, but they do. And they want it that way because they love each other. But yet still, in our hoods, in the ghetto, or the barrios, or the reservation, we got all kind of banging going on, man. We got all kind of slanging going on, man. We got all kind of whoring and whoremongering going on. All manner of evil and wickedness we do to each other. But Christ is commanding us to come up out of that, man. And be better brothers and sisters towards each other. That's the highest standard that he set, that he is calling us to be, man. That's our king. And that's the example that he set, man. And that's what we do in the Isupk, man. We give up our lives for our people because we love our people. But more than that, we love God, man. And that's the requirement to show God that we love him. Because we don't want him to call us a liar. We understand these scriptures. And if the scripture is saying that you can't love God without loving your people, your brother, then how we look acting like we the Christian church, man? How do we look doing that? We look foolish. We look like everybody else out here, man. But that's the one thing we try not to do, man. We try not to look like everybody else out here. Because we set apart. We are holy, man. We recognize that we're special to the Most High. And we do everything according to these scriptures. And that's how we live, man. We gave up our old lives and turned over a new leaf to become new creatures, man. A new creature that loves his brothers and sisters, man. And that's that. That's how we do. Because we recognize the chance that the Most High gave us, man. We recognize that. And we don't want to squander that. We don't want to be told in that day that we're not accepted because we wasn't being good brothers and sisters to each other, man. So that's why we move the way that we move. That's why we strive to do the things that we do, man. That's what it is. So in the Isupk, we open the doors, we open our arms, man. We pass out flyers so that you can come get some of this brotherhood, man. I can recall when I first started learning that I was an Israelite, right? I didn't know who the Isupk was. I just knew about a bunch of different Israelite groups I saw on YouTube. But I also knew that I didn't want to join the wrong group. So I started watching some of everybody, man. Examining their behavior, their knowledge of the scriptures, the way they broke the scriptures down, the way that they treated each other, the way that they conducted themselves on camera and off camera. And there are ways to learn about how people conduct themselves when they're not around, man, when everybody's not watching. There are ways to find out how people conduct themselves, man. You know how word gets around in Israel. But as I was doing this research, man, and my due diligence, and I would watch this fake Israelite group, and one after the other, there would be different things that would make them all fall off, man. Like you got one that got the rape doctrine, man. I was like, no way. Then you got Then you got another one that accept the oppressor in the organization. I'm like, no way. But then they would always talk trash about Commander General Yohana and how he is this and he is that, right? And then when I go to watch the Isupk, I see none of that, man. I never saw any verification to any of the claims that these fake Israelite groups were making. But I also saw how these brothers never lost, man. Anytime they came in a battle, whether it be with another fake Israelite or a Christian or a conscious community, whoever it was, man, when they break down the scriptures, it totally cut and sliced and diced all other doctrines that came up that came up against them. So the columns just started getting checked off, man. The Isupk. And then I saw the masculinity, man. How no brother has to compromise his masculinity, man. Another check mark. Your masculinity is encouraged in here, man. Not only encouraged, but it's demanded, man. You can't be no coward in here, man. You can't be soft in here, man. You gotta be able to take a checking. You gotta be able to follow orders. You gotta be a good brother, man. And that's the last thing. That was the last factor that made me say, I gotta get down with these brothers, man. I saw the brotherhood amongst each other, man. I could genuinely see that these hardcore brothers had love for each other, man. Genuine love for each other. From the generals on down to the troopers, man. I mean, it's something that can be seen, man. So through my due diligence, it became abundantly clear where I needed to be. So I did what I had to do to get up in these ranks, man. And I can say that it's the best decision I ever made, man. This is the best place to be, man. If you ain't in here, I don't know what you're doing. But you need to find a way to get up in here, man. The Lord be with you. Straight up. But I'm going to get up off that, and let's go to the book of Luke. The book of Luke, chapter 6. And we're going to start at verse 31. Luke chapter 6, verse 31. And it reads, as ye would that men should do to you, do ye also to them likewise. That's right, man. All these scriptures tie in, man. The same way the king in Matthew said that you did all these things to me because you did it to your brothers, man. That's what this scripture is saying. For if you, in the book of Luke chapter 6 verse 31, and as ye would that men should do to you, do ye also to them likewise. That's it, man. Just think about it. Because it's easy for somebody to think about themselves. That's what we do. We think about ourselves all day long, man. So just think. When I'm hungry, I wish somebody would have compassion on me and give me something to eat. That's easy for us to do. It's easy for us to think about how we want to be treated. So now if you do that easy part, now look at it the other way. Now do that for somebody else, man. That's not so easy for us to do. But it should be. Because it's called being a good brother, man. Being a good brother is something that we should want to do, man. Being a good sister. Like that's something that we should want to do, man. Like why would we not? Why would we want to hate each other? Don't we get enough hate from all the other nations? We get enough hate from the other nations, man. We get enough hate when we go to our jobs because we work for some oppressor who don't treat us right on the job. All we do is work hard and we still don't get treated right. We get passed over for promotions. Then we watch other oppressors come in the door and immediately get promoted past us. We go to school, or we send our kids to school, and then the teachers disrespect them. Like the teacher who had the little brother lay down on the floor, and she put her foot on his neck, and then took a picture, man. Like that's hell. That's hell right there. That's the kind of thing that we have to deal with in this society. In this society, man. So why wouldn't you want to love your brother, man, who got to go through that, man? Don't he need some love? The oppressor got enough love, man. Everybody love the oppressor, man. He wants for nothing, man. I mean, even though they have no real skills, or they have no flavor, when they step out and try to step into the arena of like rap and dancing and whatnot, everybody shower them with love and that, man. When our people are the ones who really got all the flavor, man. And for us, it's just regular. But we go out our way to oppress the M&Ms of the world, to give accolades and compliments to the M&Ms of the world, man. Like people actually call this cat the greatest rapper, man. You know how much of an insult that is, man? I mean, granted, the brother, Salakia, the dude is all right. He might be better than all right. But he ain't the greatest rapper, man. Not even close. But we so eager to give our love to somebody else, man. and we just as it's just as easy for us to take our love from each other, man. It's like we almost feel like we have to do that, man. Like we see an oppressor going through some situation on the street, and we jump in and become their savior. But we see our brothers and sisters in the same situation, and we'll pull out our camera phone and record it and say, "World star." That's not brotherhood, man. That's wickedness, man. And it's not accepted by the Most High, man. It's proving that you don't love the Most High. But if you love the Most High, then we'll step up and start doing better, man. That's what we'll do. I'm going to read that again. This is the book of Luke, chapter 6, verse 31. And as ye would that men should do to you, do ye also to them likewise, man. Again, that's something we learned earlier in life, man. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And it's easily said, but it's very seldomly done, man. Seldom done. We want people to do unto us as we would have them do, but then we don't care about how we do them. We want it both ways. We don't want to be uncomfortable or put out or have to have the short end of the stick in nothing. We always want to come out on top, man. And as a nation, we got to stop that, man. Sometimes we're going to have to suffer a little bit so that somebody else, man, one of your other brothers can have a little something, man. You might not be able to get full off of this meal because you're splitting it with your brother who's hungry, man. That's a slight inconvenience, man. You had the means to get the meal, so you probably got the means to get another one. This is how we're going to have to start thinking, man, and behaving and treating each other, man. Sisters. Sisterhood is included in brotherhood, man. And you have to stop putting your brother on child support, man. You have to do that. Your brothers are oppressed in this society just as you are. And as oppressed people, a lot of times that means that we're poor, man. That we are in poverty. And we can't afford to pay the bills that we already got, man. And then they'll say, well, you shouldn't have been laying down and having babies. Well, he ain't did it by himself. Maybe you need to put a rein on the box and not get pregnant, not open up them legs to every brother that want to get in there, man, or that you feel like you want a piece of, man. So the mistake is on both people, if you want to call it a mistake. If you feel like it's a mistake, I don't feel like it's a mistake. I feel like that's the Most High bringing another one of his chosen people into this world, man. And the mistake was not picking the right brother or sister to begin with, not waiting and courting and recognizing that sex is marriage and that you don't need to be doing this every 6 months from now. You need to make a decision on a brother or sister that you want to be with for the rest of your life, man. And then go and get married, man, aka have sex. And if a baby comes out, then it's a blessed union, man. But if you just being a whore, then what is you doing, man? Like you hustling backwards. You already starting off wrong, man. And now you want to put the brother on child support and have the government all up in y'all business. Then when the brother can't make a payment or make it a certain amount of payments, now he's locked up. And he loses his job. And then he loses his crib. And he loses his his car, whatever it is, that everything that he's accumulated, the little bit that he does have, he loses it. Now what good is that? Now the child's father can't provide, is locked up. What kind of example is that for the child? How does that help the child? And sisters, you also gotta stop aborting your babies, man. You gotta stop aborting our nation, man. Blacks and Hispanics and Native Indians abort between 350,000 to 500,000 babies a year, man. And when you think about how that number grows exponentially, when you think about how many people that is that's not in our nation, then you factor in that every one of those babies that was aborted, if they grew up and became an adult, they were probably gonna have some kids, man. And then those kids was gonna have some kids. And on. You wiping out generations, man. Because you being a selfish, wicked monster, man. And murdering your baby, man. And they need to stop calling it abortion, man. And call it murdering your baby, man. Maybe that'll make it hit a little bit more and help you understand what it is you're doing. You are murdering your baby, man. Sometimes you gotta say things out loud to recognize the gravity of the situation, man. We gotta stop murdering our babies, man. That's why we can't grow past, in the black community, we can't grow past 13% of the population, man. We fluctuate between 12 and 14% of the population. And we've been doing that for years, man. How is it that we stuck on these numbers? Unless it's somebody planning different ways to keep us stuck on this number. But they need our help to do it, man. And the help we give them is not keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, man. Because if we keep these commandments, then we're not going to abort our babies. Salaki. We're not going to murder our babies. We're not going to murder each other. We're not going to sell dope to each other. We're not going to steal and rob from each other, man. So we might not have such high prison numbers, man. We're not going to be homosexuals, man. Because the gay community doesn't reproduce, man. These are all factors that keep us stuck between 12 and 14% of the population. It's not that many of us here in this place, man. We're few in number. So it should be easier for us to show love to each other, you would think. It's not that many of us, man. So that's even more reason for us to come together to work to be better brothers and sisters to each other. But that's just not how it is in this place, man. We don't do what it is we need to do to help advance our cause, man. To help advance our situation positively. That's why we continue to be stuck how we're stuck, man. A brotherhood can change that, man. Like I always say, in this school, the Isupk, we have a lot of slogans, man. We have a lot of sayings. We say, no cowards. We say, home of the truth. And we also say, brotherhood is a weapon, man. And that right there is a UPK staple, man. Brotherhood is a weapon, man. And a weapon is something that you use to defend yourself, to fight, or to go to war, man. Defend yourself, to fight, or go to war, man. That's what a weapon is, man. And that's what brotherhood can do for us, man. It can help us defend ourselves, fight, and go to war, man. And these brothers in this school with me, all of us haven't met each other. We don't need to go to war and defend each other. If I see that you are my brother, then I got your back, man. In here, now in the world, I got your back under most circumstances. If you coming against, or if somebody's coming against your right, you know what I mean? But out here in the world, we wicked, man. So I ain't gonna just say I got your back if you out here doing wickedness, man. I mean, I got your back as far as telling you the right thing to do, or to give you the right words, man, or to give you what the Most High says in this Bible. I'll give you the law, statutes, and commandments. I'll always be a good brother in that area. The rest is on you. I can't make you receive the word, man. All I can do is give it. But I'm going to read that again. This is the book of Luke, chapter 6, verse 31. And as ye would that men should do to you, do ye also to them likewise. That's self-explanatory, man. We all know better, man. We all know that we need to be treating each other better, man. Like, that's no secret, man. We know we need to stop black on black crime. We hear that enough, man. We hear that from the oppressor, man. That's the number one thing he throws back up in our face. Every time we talk about his injustices that he treats and how he treats us. We need, you know. So this is not some foreign concept right here, man. This is practical knowledge, man. And I'm going to drop that, and I'm going to go to John 15 and 12. And this is very similar to one of the previous scriptures. And it reads, "This is my commandment, that ye love one another as I have loved you." That's Christ saying it again. The words are written in red, man. Christ's own words. He just reiterating it over and over and over, man. The same way Zephaniah 2 and 1 says, "Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together." Christ is saying, this is my commandment, that ye love one another. And I give you a new commandment, that ye love one another as I have loved you. He said it again. I'm going to read it again. This is the book of John, chapter 15, verse 12. "This is my commandment, that ye love one another as I have loved you." This is in another book, another account. But you get the point. Repetition is what our people need, man. The Most High always deal with us repetitively, man. So there can be no mistake about what it is that he wants, man. When your parents told you something, and then they tell it to you again, and the second time they might say it even slower. Then they say, "Do you understand?" Because you have a tendency of showing them that you're not going to listen or not paying attention to what it is that they said, or that you're not going to carry out and fulfill the task that they're requiring you to do. Hence the need for the repetition. And our people have shown time and time again that we choose not to be the best brothers and sisters to each other, man. That we don't love one another. We don't love one another a little bit, let alone as Christ have loved us, man. We don't love one another as Puff Daddy love Biggie or whatever you want to call it. Whoever people you want to put in there who might display a little bit of love for each other. Let alone the way that Christ loved us, man. Like, we got a long way to go as far as this brotherhood is concerned, man. Straight up. A long way to go. And it's not, by no means are we saying that it's easy to be a good brother. But it has to become that way, man. Like, it's an old saying that whatever you practice, you're going to get good at, man. So we practice brotherhood, man. We'll get good at it, man. The same way we've been practicing being wicked to each other. And we got good at it, man. We just need a little bit of practice on the other direction. That's it. And we'll get good at it, man. That's why we do that in here, man. In the Isupk, a lot of this work that we do is repetition, man. It's repetitive. But it's our practice, man. So by game time, we'll be ready. That's what it is, man. We're getting ready for game time, man. And that game time is when Christ cracked that sky with them 200 million angels and come in all his glory, man, to fight for us and establish his kingdom. That's what we're doing, man. All the work we're doing is preparing for that day. We out here rehearsing the righteous acts, man. Preparing for that day. And I'm going to get the book of Matthew, chapter 18. And I'm going to start at verse 21. And it reads, "Then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how oft shall my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? Till 7 times? So here's Peter coming to Christ. We all know Peter was one of Christ's disciples, one of his main disciples, the one that Christ left in charge pretty much. Not pretty much, the one that Christ left in charge. And he came to Christ and said and asked the Lord, how many times are we to forgive our brother when he sinned against us? He said, till 7 times? Verse 22, Jesus said unto him, I say not unto thee, Salaki. Yahushua saith unto him, I say not unto thee until 7 times, but until 70 times 7. So he multiplied Peter's answer by 70, man. And it's not a literal number. It's basically saying, man, keep being forgiving to your brother. Be a forgiving person to your brother. Don't be so quick to bring down your wrath against your brother. Have compassion for your brother and your sisters, man. Be a compassionate person, man. Think about the commandment that the Lord gave us when dealing with your brother, man, even when he has wronged you. Think about that. Think about how many times we have sinned against the Most High and we ask that he forgive us. Think about that when you have a chance to forgive one of your brothers, man. These are the things that we gotta start incorporating into our brotherhood, man. into our day-to-day actions towards each other, man. Think about all of that. We're all in captivity, man. We all are going through this oppression. We all are trying to find, the best way forward. We have all been lied to about the history of our people and who we are. So if you having a little bit of knowledge of the truth, and you know where you came from, you should have more compassion and be a little bit more understanding to your brothers and sisters, man. We know what we're up against, man, what we're fighting through. Like, I can recall, again, I talk about my father a lot today. Not always, but I brought him up in class a few times. Today is a little bit different, but he would always, anytime we had a skirmish or a scuffle in the house, he would always, not even in the house, but whoever it was, the one that was the older and knew better, he would always be harder on that person. Because they knew better, man. The other person might not know better. He would still get on them too, but it would be from a different place. It would be more from a place of teaching them not to do that again. So, helping them understand what they did wrong so they wouldn't do it again. But the one that knew better, he would be more like, you know better. What is you doing? You know what I mean? It was more from a place of have more compassion for your brother and your sister, man. Because the other person wasn't doing it out of a lack of compassion. He was doing it out of a place of ignorance. But you can't claim ignorance when you know better. You have knowledge of the situation that the other brother is in, and you know that he's ignorant. So be a good brother and show that brother some compassion, man, and forgive him when he's wronged you. We're not saying let somebody walk all over you. That's not what we're saying. That's not what the scripture is saying. It's just saying have some compassion for your brother, man. Then you still move accordingly after that. You know what I mean? You don't have to continue to put yourself in a situation to get taken advantage of. But at that moment, when that brother has wronged you, get a brother a pass, man. Stall him out. You know how we say, stall him out, Debo. Salakia. But that's what we do, man. Again, it's about displaying brotherhood, man. It has to be something that we work at, man. It has to be a conscious effort on our part. Like, we got some examples of good brotherhood in our communities, man. We see people doing positive things for each other. A lot of times we don't see it on TV because that's not how we're portrayed in the public eye. We are on Front Street when it comes to us being unbrotherly. But we never see acts of good brotherhood the majority of the time. When the news comes on, it seems like all the top stories are bad stories. Stories where people doing harm to each other, robbing each other, killing each other, whatever the case may be. And if it's a black, Hispanic, or Native Indian, you can count on his picture being plastered on that screen. But then there are other cases when they're reading the story and they're describing the story and then there's no picture. You can almost guarantee that when that happens, it's an oppressor who committed that crime. But that picture is not being plastered all over the screen for some reason. Again, these are the things that we all have to go through together. We suffer this oppression together. So we need to get out of this oppression together as brothers, as a nation, man. We're not desired in this place. So we have to desire each other. We have to prefer one another, man. I prefer my brothers in this school, man. I prefer my brothers and sisters in this nation, man. I'm going through a very difficult time right now, but I still prefer my UPK brothers and sisters, man. Not that I disrespect my own family or don't love them, but I can appreciate my brothers and sisters in this place because we're going through the same walk together, man. We have all identified each other as the same nation, and we serve the same God. And the Most High has required us to be that way amongst each other, man. We don't celebrate the oppressor's wicked holidays, man. So I'm going to prefer these brothers and sisters over people that do. Because when things get rough, then I know that these are the ones who gonna stand with me, man. I mean, brothers and sisters in the world, they're gonna call me and try to console me. But I know some of them probably gonna try to pass me the blunt. But not in here, man. My brothers and sisters gonna tell me to stand strong for the Lord, man. And that's the way that we have to be for each other, man. I mean, like I said, it's a rough time right now, but may my Father rise again, man. Being in here, I mean, I can deal with it a lot better than I would have if I was still out there as a Christian, man. You know what I mean? Because I know He's gonna rise again. But I also got brothers and sisters who are gonna embrace me and tell me all of the right things that I need to hear, man. And not to fall to my demons, man. That's what's gonna happen out there with my brothers and sisters in the world, man. They're gonna encourage every demon, man. I got a few of them here and there that respect this walk that I'm on, and they're gonna encourage me to not do these things. But for the majority of them, they're gonna be the demons, man. They're gonna try to take advantage of a vulnerable state, and to them, it's not even taking advantage of it. It's just their way of dealing with situations, and they think that's the best way to deal with a situation. But I'm glad I got a bunch of brothers and sisters in here that know better, man. And they don't want to see me fall, man. They don't want to see me go back to that man that's not here anymore, man. And that's brotherhood, man. And that's sisterhood. And that's the way we got to be with each other. And I'm going to grab Mark 12 and 31, man. Mark 12 and 31. All right. I'm gonna start at verse 28. And one of the scribes came, and having heard them reasoning together, and perceiving that he had answered them well, asked him, which is the first commandment of all? So now here you have a scribe coming to Christ after hearing him reasoning together with, I gotta read up to find out who he's reasoning with. But he's hearing Christ reason with somebody else. And he perceived that Christ knew what he was talking about. He perceived that he answered them well. He liked what he was hearing. So he came to Christ and asked Christ, which is the first commandment of all? And Christ, verse 29, and Jesus answered him, the first of all the commandments is, hear, O Israel. Not hear, O everybody. Not everybody on the planet, listen up. Nah, hear, O Israel, man. So what is everybody talking about? Christ came for everybody, man. But that the Most High is for everybody, or loves everybody. All of this, man, everything in this book, man, is for the nation of Israel, man. From the first page to the last page, man. And the Apocrypha in between, man. It's all about Israel, man. The nation of Israel, man. Yasha Allah in the Hebrew. The 12 tribes. He's the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, man. This is not for everybody. This is Christ saying, and it's written in red, man, that the first commandment is, hear, O Israel, man. The Lord our God is one. That's it, man. The Lord our God, man. Our God. He's our God. O Israel. He's our God, man. He's the God of Israel, man. Ain't no way around that, man. Verse 30. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind, and with all thy strength. That's how much we're supposed to love the Most High, man. With everything you got, man. Why you think I'm in here teaching this class and my pops just passed away, man? Because I love the Lord, man, with all that I got, man. I gotta show him that, man. That's what I'm trying to do, show the Most High my love for him. Show my brothers and sisters my love for them. That's the first commandment that Christ is saying, man. Love the Lord, Israel. The one true power, man. Love him with everything you got, man. All your mind, your soul, your strength, everything you got, man. Mind, body, and soul, man. Love the Most High. And this is the first commandment. That's the first thing you do, man. Love the Most High. Verse 32. Salaki. Verse 31. And the second is namely this. Now this is the second commandment. He only asked about the first commandment. He said, what is the first commandment? Christ gave him the first commandment. But he didn't stop there. He went to the second commandment, man. Because he didn't want him to not get this. He said, and the second is like, namely this: thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. That's the second commandment, man. Love your brothers and sisters the same way you love yourself, man. And we know we love ourselves some us. Like T.O. T.O. used to say, I love me some me. And we know we love us some us. All of us. My motto is nothing's too good for me. That's my personal motto. Nothing is too good for me. Because I know I love some me. But I gotta love all my brothers and sisters the way that I love myself. So that means nothing's too good for my brothers and sisters either, man. That's my motto for my brothers and sisters too. Since that's the way I feel about myself. Because Christ said the second commandment, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. However you love yourself, man. That's how you're supposed to love your neighbor. And again, the first commandment is, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God. So it's only talking about Israel. So when he says love thy neighbor is a fellow Israelite. Christians love to say we're taking things out of context. But if you're trying to put some other nation in that right there, then you the one taking it out of context, man. It ain't no better context than that. Ain't no other context. The context is Israel, man. The context is Christ talking to an Israelite about Israelite matters, man. About an Israelite law from the God of Israel. Laws that he gave to fellow Israelites, man. To Israelites. Ain't no other nation in that, man. Your neighbor is your brother of your nation, man. Straight up and down. Ain't no way around it. You can try to put somebody else in there all you want, but you're taking it out of context if you do that. I'm going to continue on. There is none other commandment greater than these. So ain't no commandment greater than these, man. This encompasses all you need to know, all you need to do. Not all you need to know, but it's all you need to do, man. You need to love the Lord with all you got, and then love your brothers and sisters as you love yourself, man. If you can do these two things, then you will be keeping the law, statutes, and commandments at an optimal level, man. You would be showing great brotherhood, man. You would be showing that you love the Lord, man. And again, it says to love the Lord. And thou shalt love, verse 30, and thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind, and with all thy strength. This is the first commandment. So, the second scripture I read was in 1 John, said that if you don't love, how can you say you love God and then you hate your brother? So if this verse is telling you the first commandment is to love the Lord, then that means it doesn't come without loving your brother. So Christ has to put that second commandment in there, to love thy neighbor as thyself, man. Because it is, loving God is contingent upon loving your brother, man. You can't have one without the other. You can't have one without the other. In order to love God, you gotta love your brother, man. This is what we in this brotherhood class to get across, man. That loving your brothers and sisters is a way to show that you love the Most High, man. And by not loving your brothers and sisters, you can't love the Most High. Like, that is the point that I'm trying to drive home in this class, man. It's a commandment, the first commandment, to love God. But you can't do that without loving your brothers and sisters. I don't know how many times I got to say it, or how many times that it can be said, but that's the whole point, man. And I hope somebody gets it, man, because it's totally necessary, man. Ain't no way around it. Ain't no way around it. Matter of fact, I'm going to read it again. And Jesus, this is the book of Mark, chapter 12, starting at verse 29. And Jesus, matter of fact, I'm going to go back to 28. I'm going to read his question again. And one of the scribes came, and having heard them reasoning together, and perceiving that he had answered them well. So he heard Christ reasoning with other people, and he perceived that Christ answered them well. And this is a scribe, so he has some knowledge of the scriptures. Asked him, so he's asking Christ, which is the first commandment of all? And by him asking which is the first commandment, he's not necessarily saying talking about numerical order here. He's talking about in order of importance. What's the most important? So Christ is saying in verse 29, and Jesus answered him, the first of all commandments is, hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one. Verse 30, and thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind, and with all thy strength. This is the first commandment. This is most important, to love the Most High. You got to do that first. But in order to do that, you got to do everything else. So it's not about numerical order, because you can't love the Most High without displaying love for your brothers and sisters. So that can't be numerically first. It's about a matter of importance. It's most important for you to love the Most High. But you can't love the Most High without loving your brothers and sisters. So it's not about a numerical order here. Verse 30, and thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind, and with all thy strength. This is the first commandment. Again, it's important. The Most High comes first. Numerically, the Most High comes first. Verse 30, and thou shalt love the Lord. Salaki. Verse 31, and the second is like, namely this. Now your brothers and sisters don't come before the Most High. That's why I say the Most High comes first numerically. But you can't fulfill the most important commandment by neglecting these commandments. And the second is like, namely this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. So you have to love your brothers and sisters, man. You have to exhibit brotherhood, man. Brotherhood is what's going to help us get through and out of this captivity. Brotherhood is what's going to help us build our nation. Brotherhood is going to help us sustain our nation, grow our nation. Brotherhood is going to help us prosper and thrive as a nation. Without brotherhood, what kind of nation will we be? Not a nation. Without brotherhood, what kind of nation will we be? A nation that steals from each other, that murders each other, a nation that breaks all of God's, the Most High's commandments. It's a nation that's going to stay in captivity, man. That's what that is, a nation that's going to stay in captivity. Continue reading on. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. There is none other commandment greater than these. These. He put that commandment together with loving the Most High, man. The commandment about loving the Most High. Because Christ understands that you can't love the Most High without loving your brother also. They go together. They go hand in hand. He also understands that you can't love the Most High or love your brother by breaking any of these commandments. Because you can't steal from your brother. You can't murder your brother. If you murder your brother, you steal from your brother, you commit adultery with your brother's woman, you don't love your brother. That's not loving your brother. And if you don't love your brother, then you don't love the Most High. You see how it all goes hand in hand? It all fits together, man. Like hand and glove, man. That's how this works. It all fits together. That's basically what it boils down to, man. And I'm going to go to Deuteronomy 7 and 6, man. Because as brothers and sisters, we need to recognize this. We need to recognize this. As brothers and sisters, we need to recognize this. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, and verse 6. Salakia. Salakia. All right. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God, man. We're a holy people to the Lord, man. And again, holy means separate, man. The Most High has severed us from other people. He cut us, he violently separated us from other people, man. That's what severed mean, man. That's another precept. But right here it says, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God, man. The Lord thy God has chosen thee to be a special people unto himself. The Most High chose us for himself, man. That's how much he loves us. We are his prized possession. Out of everybody on the planet, he cut us away from everybody else, separated us from everybody else. We're holy, separated, separate from all these other people. He did that. And he brought us and chose us for himself. And everybody else is over there somewhere, man. And our people too busy being selfish and being unbrotherly and being wicked as we can possibly be to the Most High and to each other, instead of recognizing that we are holy to the Most High and his chosen people, man. When I found out that I was one of the chosen people of the Most High, that was all I needed to hear, man. That was the best news I could ever hear, man. And I knew I needed to change, man. I knew I needed to stop being the wicked bastard that I was being out here, man. And I'm glad I came in these doors, man. So that I could change from being that disgusting piece of filth that I was being out here in the world, man, and start living like one of the chosen of the Most High, man. That's what I know. And because I know that, I was able to make that change, man. So that's why we come out here and we try to teach our brothers and sisters out here in the world the same thing. So that maybe you can wake up like we did and realize that you're chosen by the Most High. And realize that you got to stop living the way that we've been living out here, man. Reading on. The Lord thy God has chosen thee to be a special people unto himself. Special people, man. Special means different from everybody else, man. You're more important. He has more love. He has a place of endearment for his chosen people, man. This special people unto himself. Above all people. Above means on top of, man. All people that are upon the face of the earth. That's the place that the Most High put us, man. That he put us as a whole, as a nation. Not certain ones of us in that nation. Nah, the whole nation. The whole nation. That's why we got to take care of each other, man. We got to look out for each other. Because we all special. We all chosen by the Most High. How are you robbing and stealing and murdering the Most High's chosen special people, man? Who just so happen to be your brothers, man? These are the things that we got to start recognizing as we live our lives on a day-to-day, man. Start thinking about somebody else other than yourself, man. That's the bottom line, man. And with that, that's it for the Brotherhood Tuesday night class, man. We are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, man. Under Commander General Yohana, man. We've been preaching this truth since 1969. That blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the chosen people of the Most High, the Israelites of the Bible, man. the true Jews. This is the Charlotte School. Now I'm going to read the security announcements. Security announcements. We are the Isupk under Commandant General Yohana. Started out of 1 West on 25th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to share themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tues, which is a commandment. Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8-10, means 10th in the Hebrew. Ma'ashra, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund. Free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. Upcoming holy convocation, the next one is the memorial blowing of trumpets. And I believe that date is Salakia. That date is Monday, September 6th. And it'll be here in the Charlotte School. Again, that address is 1539 North Ridge Avenue, Kannapolis, North Carolina, 28083. Come out, feast with us, enjoy brother and sisterhood with the Akim, Aquathian, Blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians. You're all welcome. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black. Boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. And with that, Amijim, we're going to say the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kudash, Hayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malakuka, Taba'ah, Ratazaka, Hayah, Aisha, Ba'arataza, Kawa, Hayah, Bashemaya, Nathananawa, Lakam, Ka, Yuwam, Wasalak Nawa, Kabawati Nawa, Kasalak Nawa, Kabawati Nawa, Wala'ah, Kabiyai Nawa, Banasaya 1, Abal, Hawashai Nawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwas, Baha'ala, Baha'athapara, La'awalamim, Aman. In the English, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Rock, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabbat Thumb. Class dismissed.